Hello, this is Liz with Crafty Devotion, and I have a snippet roll idea for you. I made this snippet roll. I had made one in the past, my very first one. I do have a video on that, showing you a video share on YouTube. But this one, I had a different idea, slightly different idea. And what I'm using is I'm using just the circle parts of your old ribbon rolls, and that's what this part is. Now you can double layer it with more than one, or you can make it a little thicker with another cardboard, cereal box, or just a regular cardboard, or whatever you like. This one I did not do that to it. Or you can take two and just stick them together so it'll be thicker. And I'm going to show you what I did, because what I do is I found this cool thing that I have that a local supplier has, and I think they are actually just used rolls from like ribbons, but I'm not sure. So this is how mine came out, and I decided I wanted it to be a tattered look on this one, a vintage tattered look. I used a tattered fabric, and this is actually a new fabric that I tea dyed. You can turn into a snippet roll, and by adding whatever else you want. But my goal right now, what I'm doing is I'm making just the snippet roll, and want to show you how to make that part. I will sell them completed like this if you'd like to purchase one of those, but you must message me, because I don't plan to put them on Etsy unless there's a large interest. But what I am going to sell on my Etsy shop is this portion, and I'll show you why it is so cool. When I made my original one, the center part that I used here, not on this one, but my original one, it was just a piece of cardboard tubing, not the toilet paper roll, but like the roll like from in a saran wrap or foil paper. And then I also used these. So these are actually a good big way to start to use these. Like this one's very, very firm. It will not need anything, but look at the difference in the size. So you can actually choose different sizes. You can make your own just by, using cereal boxes and gluing them together. This is a recycle project to me. I'm using recycled things. Show you what I do with them. So you may find these if you purchase a large ribbon spool yourself, and you'll be able to do the same thing. Or you can go on in my Etsy shop. I will be placing these in my shop, but they're hard plastic with caps like this, and you can actually use these for different things. You can actually cover this hole, and then you can actually put beads in it if you want. You can decorate them and string them, whatever, but right now this is what I want to use them for. And they do have different sizes available, and I wanted the 3-inch size, so this is a 3-inch roll, snippet roll. And I'm going to show you how I did it right now. So you can take these off to start. And really, I cut a strip of fabric. You can use a 3-inch ribbon. You can use other things. You can use laces. You can use, like, let me see, I have like this lace here. But I decided I love fabric, so I used fabric, and this is actually a vintage fabric that I picked up at a secondhand store, and I've had it for a while. I've used it to make a purse, and I want to make more purses with it because it's such a gorgeous color. I love the coloring on this, the greens that come out in it, and the little bit of rosy pinks. So, but I decided I'm going to use it on my snippet roll. And you don't have to put this part on it. You can use whatever you want, but I just want to show you how I did it so that you know what I did. Okay, so what you'll need is you'll take these and remove them. They can be kind of hard, and you'll find that sometimes they'll, some of the paper will peel off like this. I'm going to show you how that happened. Okay, there's one. There's the other side. And here's another one. This one right here. This is very thick, but it's really hard to get off. And then here's another one. This is an actual larger size, and it comes from these types of rolls. So you can use a large one and a small one. I'm going to use these two. And look how big that hole is on this one. So Now you can also, one of the things you need to determine is if you want to keep a hole on both sides, on this side and on this side. So to hang, you can use it to hang it from, or you could just attach whatever you have. So you can actually, if you make a hole in here, we can actually make a hole in here and then it'll go right through so that you can actually hang your snippet roll. But that is up to you. I'm going to leave that to you. I did not do that on mine. And let's see. So if you would have these two here and you think that it needs to be thicker, then you can just glue them together any way you want. You can decide. I think I'm going to glue them back to back. That way there's more white here. And I'm going to do that because I thought this one was just a tiny bit flimsy. But you can actually strengthen this up by adding even more fabric or anything you want. But that's what I'm going to do. When I do this, you can decide whether you want to use what kind of glue you want to use. So on this part I'm going to use hot glue, but there's another part that I'm going to use the fabric tack, and I'll show you that. This one was a mess. But I want to show you the mess because I want you to see that you can do it with anything. You could have made these yourself, but I'm using these because they're already pre-made for me, and I have a few. So there we go. I just decided I wanted it a little sturdier. So now it's sturdier. Looks like a mess, but it's not going to stay a mess. Now I took a piece of my fabric here. And I actually, it's beautiful, isn't it? And I'm going to use this one. But this is what I did. Now this fabric is actually, has a lot of like embroidery inside of it and in the decoration, where this one doesn't. A marker that actually disappears. And once I got these markers, I love them. I can use them for so many things. And I just did this. Now when I did mine, I basically learned that I want to make it a little bit bigger when I cut it than the actual piece, because the fabric can shrink and stretch and things like that. And then you can always trim it afterwards, so it's not that crucial. So I'm going to actually cut a little bit larger around, and I'm actually cutting all 4 of them at one time. You could do 2 at a time or whatever you wish. But I'm not cutting all of them at the same time. Now take your piece and put it back on there. And trace the hole. You want to do that on at least 2. Now if you want a hole, if you want the hole on all of them, then you should do it on all of them. You should put a little circle on all of them. But these ones, I'm going to show you why I'm doing this in a bit. Actually, you can decide which ones you want to be the top of your, like this side. This one I decided to make it a red, where I could have used this gorgeous pink to make it the top. But I was planning to put things on top of this afterwards. And one will be the bottom when I stand up my snippet roll, and then I'll place things on top of here to decorate it. So I thought I would rather have the pinks in here. So then you use this right here. Now what this tube is it goes on here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a hole so I can actually slip it right over, and this will be concealed. As you can see, you can't see it at all on the snippet roll, right? Can't see it at all because of the way I did it. And the width is actually that you want is actually the width of this part right here. So you can use that, or you can use the actual tube. And what you do is, because you made that center, you look straight into it and you try to make it right in the center, or you can measure center. It's up to you, but I do things all mixed up. And I'm just kind of guessing the center on that. And that way because you went a little bit larger, it should give you a little more leeway. So if you're off a little, so that one I marked the center because that's where I'm going to be cutting it. There we go. So now when I cut the center out, I didn't go and trace around it. You can do that. You can go and just trace around it. What I did is I folded it. I do everything, all of this, my way. I don't. And since I do want it a lot smaller than that, because I want it to fit snugly, I will cut it, I would say 1/8 of an inch down, not the whole thing. So I folded it into 1/4. So this is how you can do any of the ones that you want to have a hole in. And I just follow it, but I leave quite a bit. So now, when you're going to attach it, you can see this is together. You can go right over it. It's a little snug like a skirt. And then you'll be able to put it right on there with this underneath. See? Okay. So the next thing, let's see, we got that. We need 2 of those. One of these sides will be the bottom side of your snippet roll and the other will be the top. So the whole ones are going to be the inside. You will be attaching this here. And you have plenty space here to glue. So if the hole's bigger, just don't put too much glue. And on this one, I'm going to, again, use my hot glue gun. We will use the other. And then when I place it on, I just do it in the center, what I think is about the center. You can be more exact. I do things my way. And then this is going to go right over right here. See that? So here's the other side still, and there's this side. So you're preparing it all, and I'm going to go ahead and put hot glue along this edge, all around this, because I think that will work better there to keep that together. Now here's where the fabric tack, I'm using the fabric tack for this portion because I did use the hot glue on this one and it was really difficult to move around. Fabric tack dries a little slower. So, and also the reason why it was hard for me because I made it a little smaller. That's why I'm telling you to make it a little bigger than what you need. And I'm just going to go and place fabric tack all the way along the entire circle. And since it's it's slow drying, I can do this. Let me lift this up so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just putting a little, there we go. And then now I'm going to just push down on my roll there. There you go. So this should begin attaching. And now see around this circle, you can still smooth the, even this out a little bit at this point if you want. I'm going to actually just leave it like that and do it all at the end. Now this, so now the next one, grab one of your others and it's going to go on this side. See that? It's going to end up being, and then this will go back on here. So that's what's cool. What I liked about these little things is that I can do all of this. It can look very, very finished for what I'm doing. So now I'm going to take my next fabric and place it here. Now at this point is where you decide if you actually want a hole in your snippet roll, but you can always just do it later too. You can actually make the hole later. Okay, so here on this side. And this one, I actually liked it too because I'm using this thick fabric. This is more like an upholstery type, maybe a curtain fabric, something you would find on a thick kind of a curtain that you might have. That's the kind of fabric it is, and I like that because it covers everything for you. I always lose my lid to my fabric tack. I'm very bad at this. And here you go. There you go. Okay, at this point, you can decide if you want to cut it very, very close to the cardboard, but what I'm going to do is, this is what I want to do, is I am going to, let me show you. This is what I did here. I put it very close to the cardboard, and now you can put a trim along the edge if you want. This one I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to attach the fabric to itself so that there is a layer of fabric if my glue comes out. So I'll put it all the way around. See, I'm putting the glue right here so that when I can tack the fabrics together. See how gorgeous that looks? And now you do as much trimming as you want. I'm not going to trim it until it dries, actually. So we're going to give this a little bit of chance to dry. But then after it dries, you can just trim it as much as you want. And the reason I'm not going to trim it is I don't really want fabric tack all over my scissors. So you can do that. And now this goes right on there. See how pretty that is? Gorgeous. And next, I'm going to do the other side in a bit, but I tore a piece of fabric. Actually, I actually cut this one because this one needs to cut. This is not like a cotton that can just tear. It has a lot of beautiful threads inside of it. You can see all the threads inside of it. And I'm going to take the raw edge. You can decide if you want this beautiful fabric to be on the outside. So here for your snippet roll, you can leave this. This is how I did it. You can do it. You can use ribbon, whatever you have, and glue here. And then now it's all attached, and now you can just decorate your roll, or you can decorate it before, and just because you might want to sew onto this. You might want to sew onto this. So you might mark about how much you need to wrap around it, mark it, and then do all the rest of your snippet stuff, your rolls or whatever you're going to add to it, your little doohickeys or doodads, or you can attach it first and then do that. Since I'm not planning to sew this one, I'm planning to do fabric tack glues and pins, then I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down. See? And I'm actually going to, for this one, I'm going to use a hot glue gun. I did cut this one. You'll see how beautiful. It just covers it all right up. And you can use paper instead of fabric if you're a paper person to cover your snippet roll. And, you know, not everyone has beautiful fabrics. But this, like I told you, look for old curtains that in your secondhand stores, because there's a lot of them, and sometimes it's just one panel, so nobody wants one panel, and you can get it that way. Now from here, I have two, and they look slightly different. This one I wanted a more of a tattered look, and see, you can see I frayed the edges. But from here, depending on what this part looks like, you can actually cover it with something else. You can get, like, this is actually a stretchy lace. You can actually just put a layer of stretchy lace all the way along there. You can choose to run a ribbon or something beautiful like this. Look how pretty my little rickrack would look gorgeous running along here. And then you can fill the entire thing with something else, or you can run it along this side. So you can use something as simple as just a ribbon, or a thin, I have thin, so I have something like this. You can use this, but I have this gorgeous. I think this would look gorgeous on here, this lace. So you can attach this, and then from there you can then decorate it. So I'm going to place this into my shop, and then you can make your own snippet roll. So one more thing I wanted to add is that if you are going to frame your fabric, make sure you maybe fray it before you attach this to the snippet roll, because I found that it's a little bit easier. And I thought that this fabric couldn't fray, but I was wrong. You know, until you keep on experimenting, then you learn. And I learned that the actual little fibers that are underneath will come off, and it gives it a nice little tattered fray there. So this is my finished snippet roll spindle, and it is a little stronger than my other one. Let's see my other one. So they're both beautiful, but this one's a little stronger because I doubled that, and then I actually was able to seal this a little better around the edges. And now next time I'll make sure that I fray it before I put it on the spindle. That will give me a little bit more ability. You want to make sure you cut it the right size and then you fray it. But look how beautiful that looks. It's just gorgeous. I love them both. And it's just gorgeous. And now it's ready to be filled with whatever you please. And if somebody wants to buy this one from me, just message me. Same with this one. This one's a little shorter, but we can always add more fabric. I just didn't have any more tea-dyed fabric, so I had it all white, and I'm like, ugh, I don't want that. So there you go. 2 gorgeous snippet rolls for you to use as examples in your own crafting. I hope you were inspired today by my idea, and that you will go and make your own snippet roll. This is Liz with Crafty Devotion. I will talk to you next time.